What is going on, everyone? Let's talk about small town America again. We've gone over all kinds of things related to people fleeing the big city for small town America. One thing we've never discussed is the internet in these small towns. Slow or no internet is a deal breaker for most people looking to start a new life in a small town. Most people these days looking into a small town life are people that work from home via the internet. This has become more and more of a thing in recent years, and it'll continue to be a growing trend for some time, I'm sure. I read every single day that companies, because of the pandemic, have learned that having people work from home isn't a bad thing most of the time. Having a large portion of your workforce working remotely means you can have a smaller office, so that's less rent or whatever, less sick days, fewer people showing up late. The list of benefits go on. So we researched decent small towns with good internet. Good these days means no less than 25 megabits per second. And stop typing. If you're watching this 5 years from now and we all have like 5 gig internet or something, remember this was 2020 and blazing fast internet was 1 gig. All right, let's see what we found. Number 10. Council Grove, Kansas. About an hour southwest of Topeka, you have a small town of 2,000 residents called Council Grove, and they have decent internet. Council Grove was named after an agreement between American settlers and the Osage Nation, allowing settlers' wagon trains to pass westward through the area on the Santa Fe Trail. Pioneers gathered at a grove of trees so their wagons could band together for their trip west. These days, it's out in the prairie, miles and miles away from any big city. You need internet here just to save yourself from dying of boredom. Can you imagine the craziness that this place had that first day they got internet like 10 years ago? Some old dude yelling from his living room to his wife, "Martha! Martha! Elvis Presley's dead!" The good news is this is a decent town with good internet now. One of the companies there is called TCT, and just one of their plans, probably their best one that I think, is 50 Mbps for $89.95. If you bundle it with TV and phone, you get, less. Now, they're not paying me to say this. No one is. I'm just letting you know. They go all the way up to a gig, which is about $200. And make sure you check with them because prices change all the time, and I'm just giving you what they're offering right now. Number 9. Platteville, Wisconsin. Platteville is the largest city in Grant County in southwestern Wisconsin, with about 12,000 residents, and it's growing. They've had some good growth over the last decade or so. Platteville is about an hour southwest of Madison and about 20 minutes from the Mississippi River that's to its west. They have CenturyLink in this small town, and it's not dial-up. You can get 1 gig for less than $100 a month, which, as you'll find out on this list, that's a pretty good price for 1 gig. Like I've said, prices change, so do some research. And a lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about CenturyLink. I'm not a fan of CenturyLink, but in the last 5 or 6 years, they've gotten a lot better. And again, no one's paying me to say this stuff. Number 8, MOLALLA Oregon. A little less than an hour south of Portland, you have the 15,000 people that call MOLALLA home. You don't have to live in Portland, Eugene, or Salem to get some blazing fast internet in Oregon. MOLALLA Communications provides true 1 gig broadband for around $115 a month. Again, not a bad price. Not a lot of effort went into the name of this company, MOLALLA Communications. Doesn't sound like they had a big meeting with a bunch of art directors and people like that and marketing people. It's like 2 guys went in building and goes, we're communicating, well, we call it MOLALLA Communication. They have a really cool place in this town called the MOLALLA Train Park. It's a miniature train park where you could take the kids and they can ride on these little trains. It's really interesting. It's been there like 50 or so years. I think 60. I think they said it opened in the 50s. It's really neat. I saw it once. It was cool. Number 7, French Settlement, Louisiana. French Settlement is a village in Livingston Parish, Louisiana, not too far from Baton Rouge. Being so close to that sorry excuse for capital city isn't a good thing, but French Settlement is far enough away where you won't be called a liar if you tell someone you lived nowhere near Baton Rouge. The population was about 1,100 back in 2010, and they've gained a few people since, so they might actually crack the 1,200 mark. This is a small, thin village with a lot of wooded areas around it and 1 gig internet for about $150 a month. Move here and you can enjoy some heat, humidity, and Netflix in 4K. In French Settlement, you can Netflix and sweat. Number 6, KENAI Alaska. Now, I was in Alaska a year ago this last August, not too far from Kenai, in a place called Soldotna. I can tell you firsthand, they have decent internet. I uploaded a video while I was there and I really didn't think I was going to be able to. 30% of the roads here are dirt roads. So it's kind of remote, away from things. GCI, Alaska's main internet service, has been spreading gig service to surprisingly remote locations. You'll definitely pay for it, but that's life in Alaska. That's how it goes. Everything's expensive here, including their groceries and just about anything else. Kenai has good schools, friendly people, and great breweries. 1 gig internet's going to set you back $175 a month. They have lower plans, but that's their 1 gig plan. It's a bit pricey. I get it, but that's Alaska. Land is cheap and they pay you a little money to live there. Number 5, price Utah. Utah has so many nice towns, it's hard to find ones that truly suck. I did a worst towns list on Utah, and it was difficult to find 10. I was actually reaching on a few of them. Arkansas, on the other hand, I could turn that into a 23-part mini-series. Price is about an hour and a half southeast of Provo, Utah. It has clean air, about 8,000 residents, a low cost of living, and gig internet for under $75 a month. That's right now. Could be more if you watch this a couple years from now, like I've been saying. Sorry I keep harping about it, but I just know how people are. They're going to keep bringing it up over and over. Number 4, Shiner, Texas. About halfway between Houston and San Antonio, you have the small town of Shiner. Shiner has a little over 2,000 residents and a really good brewery. The Spotzel Brewery is where they brew Shiner Bock beer. It's a really good beer. I've had it a bunch of different times. This town started off as ranching town. You know, the type of place they come in to pick up their supplies? Well, now it does everything. They still got ranching in the area and stuff, but other things have taken over. Livability isn't the focus of this list, but I will tell you this town has one of the highest scores I've ever seen, a 92. The only thing that isn't graded an A or A+ is employment. So if you work from home, this place is perfect because of those grades, and they have gig internet for around $100. In case I haven't made it clear and you don't know, gig internet is some of the fastest internet you can get in this country right now in 2020. Number 3, Mitchell, South Dakota. I know what you're saying. They have gig internet and a corn palace. How did they get so lucky in Mitchell? It's like the entire town has horseshoe tattoos and they use 4-leaf clovers instead of cilantro. The Corn Palace is a multi-purpose arena facility in Mitchell that they have all kinds of events there. It's just a weird place. It's shaped like some kind of strange palace, but it's got corn all around the front of it. I don't get it, but people seem to think it's pretty cool. I don't understand. The town of Mitchell has almost 16,000 residents, and it's a nice town. Low cost of living, decent homes. All their stats are kind of medium or middle of the road. But everything, is pretty cheap. The internet's a little expensive when you start getting the gig area. Gig internet will set you back about $180 in Mitchell, South Dakota. But they have other decent speeds for as low as 60. Number 2, Rangeley, Colorado. Rangeley, Colorado is a small town in the northwestern section of Colorado near Dinosaur National Monument, and not too far from the Utah border. They have a nearby reservoir and the White River flows at the north edge of town. If you're the outdoor type that needs solid internet, Rangeley is probably one of the best choices you have in the country. This is a nice town. The cost of living is low and crime is almost non-existent. They only have 2,000 residents, so if they start having a bunch of crimes happen, they probably already know who it is, and then they just go pick up Gary at his mom's house. There's always a Gary in these small towns, the guy that brings everything down because he's the only one committing crime. You can get gig internet in Rangeley for $70 a month. Yeah, that's cheap. And they have great air quality here. This is a nice place to live. It's not too high up in the Rockies where you're, snowed in all the time. They get some snow, but it's not as bad as some of the places. And before we get to number 1, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Help out the channel. Really appreciate it. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Montor Falls, New York. About 30 minutes west of Ithaca, New York, in the Finger Lakes region, you have Montor Falls, and it's 1,600 residents. It's not a big place. It was originally called Havana, New York, but in 1895, they changed the name to Montor Falls. This is one of the most affordable towns on this list. They've got a low cost of living and decent homes going for about $200,000. I saw some livable ones that probably need a little work for around $100,000. This is a really affordable place to live. You can get gig internet here for $70 a month. And with all the people leaving New York, prices are bound to just keep going down, so it could be a good choice. Alright, that is our video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This one was requested a lot, and just recently I got an email, and we'd done the research on it. I just never wrote the script and recorded it, so we got that taken care of. I hope this one helps some of you if this is something you're thinking about, moving someplace to work remotely. These are great places that have great internet. Alright, like I said before, don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.